What's going on? This is Louis Angel right here with AE Mind Money, and I have my good friend, Mr. Omid Kazravan, on this Skype session with us
What's up,
today.
guys? How you all doing today?
Hey man, thanks a lot for jumping on. Short notice. I know you're busy right now traveling the world, doing talks, and empowering a lot of people from pretty much everywhere, man. So thanks so much for taking a few minutes.
Of course, bro. Anything for you.
This guy. So, Omid, let me just tell you a little bit about him, man. I've known him for several years now, and ever since I've known him, I knew that there was like greatness inside of him, great potential
Nice.
inside of him. And over the last few years, I've seen him evolve and grow into the person that he is today. He actually wrote a book. It became a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. It's called, let's show it real
Always
quick.
be closing right over
Always
here.
be closing. And
Boom.
see, there's a stigma around that term, always be closing. And Omid, he did an amazing job of taking that stigma and just turning it on its head. And we're going to talk a little bit about that here and how you can go out there and achieve success in your business and in your life. So real quick, man, Omid, where are you right now?
Right now, I am in Jacksonville, Florida, until Monday.
Till Monday.
Till
What's going
Monday.
on Monday?
So Monday, I'm flying out to the Bahamas for 6 days to do a real estate trade show.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, start of the week. Monday woke up 5 a.m., caught a flight to New York to go run an event in New York, and then that same day hopped on a flight to Orlando to go work in Orlando 2 days. Second day, hopped on a flight to go to Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, where I did an event, and then after that event was over, rented a car, went to Roswell, Georgia to go run another event, and just ran an event this morning as well. So busy days,
The
busy
event
days.
runner. And we're not just talking about behind the scenes, just, collecting applications. We're talking about you're actually up there doing the thing as well. You have some partners, you were like, seeing how they did it, and now you're actually going up there and doing your own
Yes.
presentations, right?
It's true. It's true. I speak for right now. My audience ranges from anywhere from 50 to 200 members, and I'm flown to 4 to 5 different cities a week.
That's amazing, man. So let's go back a few years. First of all, how old are you, man?
I'm 21. Just turned 21. Fresh.
This guy's a kid. He's a kid. He's a youngster. But he's a young hustler out there making it happen every single day. So let's talk about, when we first met, you're what, 18, 19, something like that?
I think I was, no, I was 17 when I met you.
You're 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't even legal to do anything.
So I met him at Global Youth Leadership Summit. We were all sitting on in the volleyball court. Yeah, that shirt is from there. That's the coach shirt. It was me and some of my buddies, and we're all just sitting there hanging out. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and then Luis was just walking around all by himself. It was his first year. He didn't know anybody. And I was like, hey, man, come sit with us. Come sit with us. And he's like, no. I was like, come sit with us. So I made him sit with us, and then in like 5 minutes, we had him singing songs and everything and introducing himself, and then it was just like bros from there.
Bros for life.
Bros for
So
life.
how did you get into this field of personal development, of mind empowerment, books, seminars, and everything that you're into right now?
Well, at the age of 12, my uncle was dating. There's a guy. His name is Tony Robbins. His top saleswoman. He was dating her at the time, and she knew about UPW and she knew about all these events. So she's like, I want to take him to UPW, which is Tony's first event. So I went to UPW for the first time when I was 12, and it was life changing. I walked on fire, and just I was learning something that I was really passionate about learning, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. I want to learn more. The only thing was that everyone there was like 30, 40 years old, and I was 12, and people were like sharing their life problems with me, and I was like, yeah, man, my mom has a curfew, like I can't relate much. And then
Right.
she ended up finding Global Youth Leadership Summit for me, which was a Robbins youth event for summer. It was 1 week long, and it was from kids ages 14 to 17.
Mhm.
And man, that was it. That changed the whole game because I started to surround myself with people that are like-minded, and you are who you surround yourself with. So I just grew up with my family, and here I am.
Yeah, man, because I actually saw a video. They have the recap with you in like this long, nice locks, coming down your shoulders. I think it was even below your shoulders, right? That was little old Omid, little youngster Omid.
Yeah, my hair was down to here. It was bad. It was bad, and I was out of shape. I was no confidence, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went into this environment, Tony Robbins environment. You went through the program, the youth leadership program, and you went in as an ambassador, as an alumni. You came back. You were a youth leader. You're there helping out others go through the program, and now you went through the youth coach, and you're on your way to become also a coach as soon as you turn 22. Get the official coach shirt.
Yeah.
But so going through this process, how has that impacted your life in school and then outside of school going into business?
Oh man. The biggest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And when I was going to school, I was learning things that I wasn't really interested in, and I would always go back and I'd go to personal development. Personal development. Personal development was my crutch. Well, not my crutch. It was my safety. Whenever I was down, whenever I wasn't feeling top notch, I would just go and I would work on my mind, and I fell in love with working on my mind. And back in the day when I was growing up, before I found out about all this stuff, I was really, really introverted. And I remember my uncles were the most charismatic people I've ever met in my entire life. And I was like, I want to be like my uncles,
Yeah.
but I know what to do. And they'd always be like, oh, go approach that person, go talk to them. And I was like, oh no, like I can't. I'm shy. I'm nervous. So being in that environment and constantly working my mind enabled me to have the confidence in order to do what I'm doing today. So I believe the thing that really made the difference for me was the confidence. And the more competent you are on a certain subject, the more confident you are on it. So I became more competent in communication. And that's the biggest takeaway I got from personal development was being able to communicate with the outside world and being able to develop my inner game.
Right. So you made your weakness at that point in time, which was talking to people and communicating and being shy. You made your weakness now pretty much your strength because that's what you do for a living. You go out there and talk to lots and lots of people. You've been on stages with hundreds of kids, and you've been on stages with a lot of adults. Teaching and empowering them. So that's awesome, man. Like I said, I love seeing that evolution of Omid over the last several years.
My talent is communication.
Yeah. Communication, it's key, man. It's key to success, key in everything, really, being able to talk to people. So talk to me about the journey of becoming a #1 international best-selling author. How was that like for you? Like sitting down, writing that book, and then what actually inspired you to want to write it?
Okay, so here's the thing. You know how I said you are who you surround yourself with?
Yep.
Well, two of my best friends, they were one of them already wrote his book, and then the other one was writing his book at the time. And then I told myself I was going to write a book by the end of the year, and I wrote it on a because I said I would card and I handed it to my friends. However, I kept procrastinating on it, and the reason why is because in order to write a book, you need to get past your mental block. Your mental block is the one thing that will stop you. Yeah. So I remember I stumbled upon a podcast from the guy named Neil Strauss. Tim Ferriss was interviewing him. Neil Strauss is a 7-time best-selling author, and he said the first draft is for the trash.
Oh yeah.
First draft is for the trash. He's like, you have to write it, and you can't filter anything out. If it sounds like shit, you've got to put it out there. If it looks retarded, do it. And I was like, oh my God, let me try it out. So I sat there on my computer, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write 1 page. I'm just gonna try it out. And I just went. And then what happens is, as you're in the flow and you're just writing whatever comes, not whatever comes to mind, it's just whatever comes to heart, and it's just coming out. And then the whole process was write the book, and then format it and then edit it on the second sweep. However, I was 97 pages on my first book, but I had no way of marketing it. I had no way of making money with it. It was just there for me to write a book. Yeah. I remember one of my best friends, Luis, calls me and he says, hey man, we had like a 2-hour conversation on the phone, and he's like, I really think you should write a book on sales. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I can. Here we're going back to my mental blocks. And I was like, I don't know if I can, man. I was like, I did it for 6 months, and I know I crushed it in 6 months, but I mean, it's only 6 months. And he's like, dude, the fact that you did it in 6 months, that's an accomplishment in itself. Yeah. And then I was like, it was a high producing dealership. And I was like, they were selling a lot of cars, but he's like, yeah, they were selling a lot of cars, but you sold double the amount of cars as everyone else. Yeah. So again, the whole thing was me getting over my mental block. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, Yeah. I'm going to do it because I said I would. So I put my book on the back burner, which was just a general motivation book, that had no follow-up, nothing. And it's sitting on a file on my computer. And then I went to go write this. So Luis walked me through and we set a date. However, when I set the date for pre-order, I had no idea that I had 2 weeks less time. Mm-hmm. So I set the date a month in advance, and then after everything was all said and done, I only had 2 weeks to write, edit, and format my book, or else I'd be penalized by Amazon for a year, and I couldn't upload a book. So, when you have pressure and you have your boy in your ear all the time, I had to do it. So I wrote the book, I edited it, and I formatted it all in 2 weeks.
Wow. That's called commitment. That's called just, sticking with it and setting that deadline and following through with it, right? You say you would work to add an auto car dealership.
Yes.
And I remember when we were talking, I said, like, look, dude, you were talking about all the success you were having there. You're a top salesman, the youngest one at that car dealership. You were breaking records. You're outselling all the other fellow, car salesmen there. And I was like, man, you have to lead with your success story. Because that's what's gonna lead other people to gravitate towards you, because that's essentially what I did. I was in this memory world. I wasn't that great in memory. I learned how to improve my memory. Then I went out there and I started competing in competition. So I led in my business field with my success story. So I'm like, Omid, all the top people, man, they lead with their success, because when you're picking up a book and you're going through it, in the back of your mind, you're always asking yourself, like, why should I listen to this person? What have they done in their life that's going to make me better in the area of life that I want to become better at, right? So I'm like, you got to lead with that. And so
it took me a while to actually lead with that also.
Yeah, because you were like stuck in that old, mindset of, I want to do this other thing. I don't want to venture into this new field. But so as a car, salesman, you were the youngest one there. You walk in. Talk to me about the struggles, the obstacles, and how you overcame that, and in order to become the top salesman in that field.
So, as funny as I'm gonna just kind of go off of what you just said. Yeah. Sales. Now, I'm not. My strength is not sales. My strength is being able to relate with somebody and communicate on a deep emotional level, and that's what put me ahead in sales. Like, for example, when I teach sales, I don't teach Grant Cardone closing style techniques, things like that. I teach basically. My whole philosophy is selling is healing. Okay. Yeah. So before I went in to go sell cars, I had two philosophies. Selling is healing, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. I knew nothing about cars. I knew nothing about sales. I've never done an actual sales job before. All I knew was that I'm very charismatic and I know how to talk to people. So I went in, first month was me basically getting acquainted with everything, finding out the systems, how to deal with people, the nooks and the crannies. And it was hard because sales managers and car dealerships are brutal. And I remember I used to get into fights with my sales managers because they would just sit there and scream at me. Yeah. So I went in. I was 19 years old. No, yeah, I was 18 years old, turning 19. Yeah. And I was young. I was the youngest. I was 20 years younger than everybody else. 20, 30, 40 years younger. And they were treating me like I was a kid. And I was like, no, I'm a man. I can handle this. I got this. I may not be able to drink alcohol legally in America, but I was like, I got this. So there were constantly people. It was 30 salesmen and the managers. They would constantly be giving me shit. And then, but on top of giving me shit, they would also help me out and be like, here, do this, just to get the whole system and process working. And what I would do was I would go and I would work with customers, and I would show them that I cared for them more than anybody else, more than the dealership, more than the other salesmen, more than our managers. And I was like, if you ever need anything, I was like, I'm here for you. I'm not a car salesman. I'm your car salesman. Wow. I was like, I'm here for you. And I remember I used to have clients tip me additional money on top of what I made from the car because they loved working with me so much. And my dealership, we got paid in volume and we got paid in reviews. And I was the highest rated review person in the entire company. So out of 214 employees, I more than tripled everyone's reviews, to the point where every single month, the CEO had to change the pay plan because he was never expecting someone to make as much money as I was with the reviews.
Wow, when you set the bar high. Man,
so everyone will get 10 reviews in a month, and then I hit them with 45. And then they're like, oh, we need to get more. So they get 17, and I'd hit them with 85. And people were just raving. People would come into the dealership and say, hey, can I work with that Omid guy? He has the best reviews online. Yeah. So from that, I ended up becoming the top salesman, because not because I knew how to close someone or handle objections. I knew that this person has a pain, a hurt that they have. That's why they're coming to get a car. They're missing a car, and the car is going to give them a feeling. It's going to give them something that they need in their life, something that they're missing. And I'm that bridge. I'm going to help heal them, and I'm going to help give them that, whatever it is that they're looking for. And when you come at it from a place of love and abundance like that, that's how you...
Exactly. And I think because it wasn't necessarily like a scripted response to their objections and, what to say if a customer tells you this or that, or I don't have enough money, or I got to talk to my spouse
Hold
or
on.
whatever.
I would have customers come up to me and they would say, "Hey, do you think this is a good card for me?" And I was like, "Bro, I don't know anything about cards." And I was like, "Do you want it?" And they're like, "But the door this." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you want it?"
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "You know what? Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, I want it. I like you. I like you, guy. But that's so true, man, because, yeah, they want to do business with people that they like, right? Not with somebody that they don't like. I walked away. I remember I was gonna buy a mattress, like this bed set, and I was ready to drop like $2,000 on this all-out, full-on furnished bedroom set. And I walked in, and the lady at first she just like all the salespeople there just completely dissed me. They didn't even pay attention to me as I was walking around the floor. And then I finally like I had to go grab somebody like, hey lady, can you help me out? I'm debating between this set and that set. And then the entire time she was just like brushing me off, like not really answering my questions. I'm like, I want this type of mattress, and that's the only one. And she's like, but what about this other mattress? I'm like, no, I don't want this other type of mattress. I want the king size mattress. I want this type of foam on it. And she kept trying to like push me to the other ones. I'm like, no, I want this type. But that like all that, like not listening to your customer, not really being there for your customer is what ended up turning me off. I went to the competitor, and I ended up dropping less money on them, but they just lost out on the sale because they didn't care, at least what I thought, about the customer. Whereas that was your number one priority, to care about the customer, to be there for them, to help them out throughout the process, not just close them like you said earlier, but just to actually be there and care for them, right?
Yeah, like if a customer had bad credit, totally agree with you on what you're saying. Like a lot of salespeople, they tend to put people in the direction that they're not really looking for, but that would benefit themselves. So if someone came in and they obviously knew they couldn't afford a higher end car, there's no reason for me to force a higher end car on them, because then they would have a higher monthly payment and then they would be miserable. I'd rather them be happy and I get referrals. So
Exactly.
totally agree with you. Like that was, yeah.
Referral game. So what were some of the obstacles that you had as a car salesman?
Hours. I worked 80, 90 hours a week. Brutal. Health. I couldn't. It was very, very hard. I was so tired. I kept making excuses to go to the gym or to not go to the gym. And I was not eating healthy. I was extremely overweight. I was the heaviest I ever was, almost at 200 pounds. Um, no social life at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to keep in touch with my friends. And I wasn't passionate about cars. I wanted to speak.
Yeah.
So it was only the whole car sales thing for me was just a means for an end. It was for me to prove myself to someone else that I could be a gangster when it comes to sales.
And you proved
So
that.
yeah,
So you were there for a little, for a while, and then you ended up becoming the top dog. But you're like, you know what? This isn't fulfilling for me. Let me move on to something else. So you went on, you wrote this book. That was awesome. But then you didn't, stay stuck there. I know our good friend Juan Bendaña, who's also a #1 bestseller. He talks about this a lot, where some people just go for the one thing and then they stay on that one thing, like a high school football champ, and then they talk about that for the rest of their lives, right? Like, yeah, I used to be the star quarterback for my high school team. Well, that was like 50 years ago, 40 years ago. Right? So you don't stay stuck on the one thing. You want to keep moving forward. Like, yes, you achieve something that's awesome, celebrate it, but move on to something else. So now you're in a new organization. You're helping build this organization up. So talk to me about the experiences here, and going into a new field and talking to this group of people that you're.
So what I do right now is I was working on building my own speaking business. And the thing is that when you have a lot of time on your hands and it's your own thing, you kind of tend to like lollygag with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted an excuse to travel now and make money now and speak now. And I put that into the universe. And I'm currently waiting for one of my buddies to go move in with him later in the year. So I have a couple months, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do these months? And then I had the opportunity to come up where this amazing guy, we call him the Mark Zuckerberg of real estate. He owns a huge mortgage company, huge title company, and he's all self-made. Oh, hold on, let me move this really quick. And he's all self-made, and he has a really big company called Listing Power Tools. It's his baby, and he just opened up a sales team, and my uncle and his business partner had a company that they've been working together called Appreciation Marketing, and they partnered up with him. and they were looking to build a sales team, and that was the first person they reached out to. So I'm a national trainer for the company, and what I do is I go into real estate offices and Bolds. Keller Williams has it's kind of like a UPW, and I speak to groups of 50 to 200 people, and I basically share with them how to wow sellers, win more listings, and inspire their referrals using our product,
Wow.
which is it's next level marketing, essentially. And I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, I only got this job because of my uncle or my uncle and his friend because I'm close with them. But I was like, you know what? Wait a minute. Luck is when preparation and opportunity meet. I've been preparing for this job and this moment for so many years, constantly working myself and my communication skills and my sales skills that it all makes sense. Like I don't believe someone is just like if someone wins the lottery, I don't believe that they bought the ticket once and they won the lottery. I believe they spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars buying that lottery ticket, and then the one time they see it, the one time they win it is the time you see it.
Right.
So people see me now, and it's like, oh, I'm doing this. He's so lucky, but no, I've been preparing hours and hours and hours. I'm working on my mind and my communication skills, constantly going and sound like an idiot when I would go and talk to people, where I would just talk out of my ass. I didn't even know what I was saying, but I kind of now I can talk out of my ass and shit makes sense. It's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome because Brendan Burchard's event, there's this thing called extemporaneous speaking, where he has us just get up and talk about any topic, kind of like an improv class in a way. And yeah, we've done that before. You and I were just like, all right, here's a topic, boom, let's talk about that, right? We've gotten up and we've talked about that. But now you can kind of mold that together with like a script in a way, right? You have your script, but then you can also like morph it into your own entity,
Yeah.
and talk from the heart as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the great thing about your skill set is you can get up there and you can still speak from the heart, even if it's something like pre-written. So that's good, man. We spoke in Canada as well. That was a pretty cool event, and Mo Mondays.
Yeah.
How was that? How do you think that helped you out? That speech, and then also all the other ones that you've given to kids. How do you think that helped you, like you said, to prepare you for this venture?
Um, quick story. It was 5 o'clock in the morning in California, and I just like we all had a really long day, and Luis was like, "Hey man, drop a speech right now." 5 a.m. Anyway, we did it. But anyway, back to your question. Um, it's the baby steps. It's the failure that gets you to where you want to go, to where you want to be. And man, the talk we did in Canada, I believe, was my worst one, and the reason why was because my focus was on myself and not on my audience. So for me, all these talks have been me developing my muscle memory of standing in front of an audience so that I feel more competent in doing it, and in turn I feel more confident. So now whenever I go and speak after all those practices, like it's okay if I mess up. I know I'm gonna mess up. All I know is that my focus is gonna be on my audience, on my audience, on my audience. And before I go, I do an incantation where I essentially I'm asking for the strength, the courage, the influence, the humor,
Yeah.
and for the universe to speak through me so that I'm not focused on myself.
Right.
Because
Focus on them.
yeah. So before I go, I'm like, they need to hear what I have to say. They need it. I was like, I'm healing them. They need that. It's for them. I was like, I'm the gap. They have this problem, and I'm there. I mean, when you're going into a situation and you're like, fuck, I'm about to heal this person. That's powerful.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna heal you. Heal.
Heal. You're broken. Let me heal you.
I'll do my presentation. People come up to me like, "Wow, your energy's amazing. That was so awesome. You're such an amazing presenter. I've been looking for something like this for so long." And they're like, you can see the joy in their face, and I'm just like, "Hey, that's why. That's why."
That's why I do this. That's so true, man. You gotta do that. Lead with your heart, and the rest will follow, right? So, what are some of the biggest tips that you can give to somebody that's watching right now or listening to help them with their business or even just in life in general? Maybe they're struggling in business and they can't really find their groove, find their like zone. Like, how can you help them out? What are like the top 3 tips that you would give to that individual?
Top 3 tips to find your groove. Number 1 is don't focus on yourself. It's not about you. It's never about you. This moment you focus on yourself, you're fucked. You got to put your attention onto the other person or onto your customer, onto your consumer, whoever it may be, because you can't come at it from a place of contribution and love. And if you're like, oh, because you're viewing the world through your own goggles, you got to view it through their goggles, because in the end, they're your consumer. They're They're your client. So that, and this is the most powerful. I said it in the beginning. I use it every single day. People don't know how much. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Just show people that you care. Show people that you care, and it will take you wonders. That's because you have to realize people are human beings and they don't really get to experience. A lot of people don't really have people in their lives that care for them or that show them that they care. Or maybe someone is going through a really shitty day and they're expecting to deal with some really shitty people, and then you're like, hey, I care for you, and they're like, oh, wow.
Somebody cares. That's
Yeah.
so true, man.
And then my third tip is, you don't just go to the gym once and you're shredded. It's a constant and never-ending improvement that you have to. It's a commitment you have to make to yourself. I spend 3 to 4 hours a day on personal development, constantly growing my mind. Make sure you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, because that's also they're gonna keep taking to the next level. Because you look at them and you're like, wow, I gotta get there. So you call them like, hey man, help me out. Boom. So constantly hit the gym for your mind. Hit the gym for your mind over and over again. Read books. Really, really great book I have for money. This book. I read a lot of books on money. I read 5 to 6 books a month.
Yeah.
This book is unreal. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. That book literally gives you play by play as to what to do with your money, how to manage it, how to asset allocate. That's the book you want to go to.
What do you think after reading that book? What is like the number one takeaway that you got from it to help you out with being more financially savvy with yourself, your personal finances?
My financial dream is not really as big as I think it is. Like people are like, in order for me to live the life I want to live, I need to make $15 million. But you can literally live that at like $400,000 a year. So it's that, and there's a common reoccurring theme in every single financial book I read, and there's a reason, because it fucking works, and it's compounding interest. So it's the incantation of that is, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. So before anything, whenever you get a check, any sort of money income, you pay yourself first. So you take a percentage, and you're like, all right, 10% goes to me, and then that's it, before anything else. Like for example, some people are like, oh, I don't have enough money to take 10% out. I live penny to penny. If the government were to raise taxes, you'd bitch, whine, scream, and moan like, motherfuckers, they raised the taxes. Oh my god! But you still pay it.
You still pay it, yeah.
So put that tax on yourself, and then eventually, future years gonna be like, wow, thanks, young me, I appreciate you.
That's so true, man. Because then you have that set aside for quote unquote that rainy day, or just to go and splurge, or maybe buy a house like you did. You own a house right now.
Yes,
it's pretty awesome in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I bought a home here. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Jacksonville's real estate's really cheap. However, what I'm doing is, a lot of people think that their homes are assets, when in reality they're liabilities, because they take money from them every single month. So what I do is, I'm young, I travel a lot. I'm okay with renting out my rooms. I rent out my rooms, and the price and the income I get from my rooms goes directly towards every expense to do with the home, and then some more that I save for the next investment. So constantly, the secret to investing is reinvest. Reinvest your money back into it. Don't take out until you can comfortably take out. Like Robert Palmer, the president of the company I work for, he kept reinvesting his money. He was broke himself. Like he spent $15,000 on a on a football commercial, while he didn't even have money to put gas in his truck. And the reason why was because he's like, I'm not taking that money for myself until I can comfortably take $10 million a year for myself. So he reinvested until now the dude's worth like half a billion dollars. Yeah.
Reinvestment, people, the
all
key.
Self-made. He never had any investors, never had anything else. It's all him the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was this guy out in Newport Beach. He started this company called the Irvine Company, which is huge now. You've been to Irvine with me, where I used to live at. And he started by buying just one property in Newport, and then that expanded out to now it's like this huge conglomerate of a company, right? Because he said, okay, I'm going to take the money that I make from this one house, this one property, and then reinvest it, like you said, and it just grows and grows and grows.
Yeah.
So, man, that's the key, reinvesting. So let me just close out with this, man. Because I can talk to you for a lot longer, many hours and hours, and we've talked for hours. I know that there's been times where I'm driving down the coast, Laguna Beach, Newport, all that, and you're out there on the coast of Florida, and we're coast to coast, and we're talking for hours on end. But right now, man, what are your future goals, future endeavors for yourself? In the next 5 years, what do you want to achieve in your life?
Next 5 years. I want to be able to retire my mom before the age of 25. That's a big goal for me. Another one is I want to be able to become a millionaire before the age of 25, because I know I'm not more fascinated with the $1 million. I'm more fascinated with the process it's going to take me and what I'm going to have to do and who I'm going to have to become in order to hit that. That's what turns me on for that goal, because I know that you don't just wake up and be a millionaire overnight. It takes just everything, like everything you can put and give out into the world. Like that's what I'm excited for. Another thing is, those are my two really really big goals. Another goal I have is I want to be able to I want to be able to travel the world, and I want to be able to experience a lot, and I want to be able to I want to have enough. So my sisters mean the world to me. I want to be able to like spoil my sisters. I just want to take my three sisters and I just want to take them and like explore everywhere with them, because success for me is not really about the money, but what the money can buy, which is being able to share the fruits of life with my friends and family. Like that alone is the most. When I can share success with my friends and family, I feel I'm the richest man in the world. Like if I buy a yacht, I'm not excited that I bought a yacht. I'm excited that I bought a yacht and I can get my boys on that yacht and we can go out. That's what excites me.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome, man.
yeah, another goal I have.
What about contribution? Because I know you're big and you do a lot when it comes to contribution and giving back. Whether it's just spending your time with other people, whether it's helping out the youngsters or financially. So what you have any contribution goals?
Yeah, I want to be able to. So the event that changed my life was Global Youth Leadership Summit, and I want to be able to create. I want to do something where I can get a lot of kids there, or create that somewhere else. I know that before I die, something I want to do is I want to change the school system, and I want to add a lot of personal development into it. Maybe even a class on money. That's something I really want to do, because I hate the school system and the way it is, and how they don't teach a lot of life skills.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to send 50 kids a year to Global Youth Leadership Summit, and I want to be able to implement that and put it into the school system. So
Wow.
that's something I'm really excited about, contribution. And then health wise, I just want to be able to move and own every single part of my body, and just be able to just have free range of motion, because I don't want to be old and crippled. I want to be old and like ripped and shredded, and be able to like do pull-ups and handstands and flips.
You'll get there, man. Do like
Yeah.
100 pull-ups, one arm. Trying to get like me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Whoa!
This guy.
Oh no!
Hey, put a boy. Cool, man. All right, so awesome. There you go, people. If you want to learn more about him, make sure to get his book, Always Be Closing. I'll post a link down below. It teaches you so much about, not just about closing, but how to be successful in life by attracting the people that you want to attract into your life, and also by connecting with those individuals on a deeper level, not just on the surface, hey, buy my stuff, but more like, why do you want to buy this, right? What is it going to mean for you in your life? So there you go. Omid Kazravan, look him up everywhere. All his links down below.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Just the fact that you guys take your time to watch this, it's awesome. And for those of you that may know Gary Vaynerchuk, his whole thing is adding value over and over and over again. Gary Vaynerchuk, all he's doing is literally building a deep relationship with his clientele. So love people, build some deep relationships, and thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Peace.
Peace.